Hey, Shalom, Shalom. First and foremost, I want to say call hello, Yahweh, Bashim, Yahushua, Bashim, Makra, Kudash. Say double honors to the apostles, bishops, and elders of Great Millstone. Say much peace, love, salutations to y'all. Came out there pushing the word of Yahweh, Bashim, Yahushua, sincerity and truth. It's Brother Ariella. On this lesson, I want to talk about daughter cities. There's several instances where you hear the daughter of Babylon, the daughter of Zion, so on and so forth. I just want to talk about a daughter, a daughter city in the sense of the daughter of Babylon. I'm going to focus on that. Typed it into ChatGPT, see what it's going to say. Because it talks about Babylon being a virgin daughter. And, what does that represent? What does that mean? And so I kind of typed it into chat to get a little bit of definitions going and rolling. It says, what is a daughter city in the Bible? In the scripture, daughter, the word Bath, is a metaphorical way to refer to a city and its people. It does not mean a literal daughter and doesn't usually mean a separate city founded later. All right, like a modern sister city. But I'm gonna say this: in some cases, yes, it does, because the daughter of Babylon is an allegory towards America, when you understand it. Okay, it says, when you see daughter of Zion, daughter of Jerusalem, daughter of Babylon, daughter of Egypt, it means the city personified as a young woman, often emphasizing vulnerability, covenant relationship, moral character, judgment, or restoration. All right, because that's what a daughter represents in your house. Somebody tender and delicate, vulnerable, but someone down to your house that you're going to take care of, and someone that can be used to extend your household, right? And depending on what type of daughter you got, whether she's a virgin or whether she's a whore, that talks about her moral character and whether she shall receive judgment or restoration. Okay? It says Hebrew background. The key word is Bath, daughter. It says uh, in ancient Hebrew thought, a daughter represented continuity, inheritance, and future. Cities were seen as living communities, not just buildings, right? Calling a city a daughter highlighted relationship, not geography. Daughter of Zion equals Zion in her relational covenantal identity. Daughter of Babylon, Babylon is, as a moral agent deserving judgment. This fits the Hebrew habit of concrete relational language instead of abstract political terms, right? Talks about how this wasn't just unique to Israel. Across the ancient Near East, cities were personified as women. They were seen as under protection of a deity. When conquered, texts describe them as violated, stripped, or made barren. Israel used the same literary framework, but moralizes it. Cities are judged not just for power, but for faithlessness, justice, and obedience. That's why prophetic books sound emotional. They are relational lawsuits, not just cold military reports. See? Okay? And so once we're looking at Babylon being judged, this is why we see kind of like that emotional tone of, man, you're going to be paid for all the wickedness you've done. You committed whoredoms. Okay? So it says daughter city versus a satellite city. Sometimes people assume daughter city meaning a smaller city founded by a larger one. That idea does exist historically, right? So you might have a daughter city to, like, let's say you live I'm in Dallas. So outside of Dallas, they have a smaller town called Rowlett that's just outside of Dallas. Well, Rowlett will be a daughter city to the Dallas hub, okay? But in the sense of a daughter of Babylon the Great, it's something that's associated, personified to Babylon. All right, that's what it's trying to tell you. It says biblical usage is poetic, conventional, prophetic. If scripture means a dependent town or suburb, it usually says villages, towns, surrounding settlements, not daughter. While prophets love this term, calling a city a daughter allowed prophets to speak about one, judgment. All right, and it talks about Psalms 137. Judgment sounds personal because covenantal violation is personal, right? So, let's see. Psalms 137 and 8, really 7. It says, "Remember, O Lord, the children of Edom in the day of Jerusalem, who said, race it, even to the foundation thereof. O daughter of Babylon, who art to be destroyed. Happy shall he be that rewardeth thee, uh, as thou hast served us. Happy shall he be that taketh and dasheth thy little ones against the stones." So it says, "O daughter of Babylon," but you see how it's related to the people of Edom. These are people that are closely related into the nature and the spirit of those Babylonians. You know what I'm saying? And so they're going to pay. All right. It says, two, compassion, like the virgin daughter of Zion. Restoration, talking about the daughter of Zion. I'm going to skip down because I want to just focus on Babylon the Great, the daughter of Babylon. Um, it says the phrase itself, uh, Bath, Bath Babal. It says, at its core, daughter of Babylon means Babylon personified as a woman, but specifically a woman characterized by luxury, dominance, arrogance, and eventual humiliation. And as we see here, that the people of Edom are linked to the daughter of Babylon, right? They're linked to this Babylon description. They're tied to them. Okay. It says, talks about Psalms 137 and 8. Here, Babylon is already sentenced, addressed directly like a descendant in court, portrayed as someone who will receive what she inflicted. This is a covenantal justice language, not mere revenge, right? And once you understand that it's tied that it's tied to Edom, you see why. Okay. It mentions Isaiah 47. Come down and sit in the dust, O virgin daughter of Babylon. You shall no more be called tender and delicate. Key elements. Virgin daughter means unconquered, not sexually pure, right? Babylon has not been invaded successfully for centuries. But here we understand that that's end time prophecy, okay? Because when we look at the mystery Babylon the Great, which we read about in Revelation, that goes from being that daughter to being a mother harlot, whore. She seems untouched by military advances, never invaded, okay? It says the term is mocking confidence. It says sit in the dust, reversal of status from throne to the ground, right? We would have healed Babylon, but she will not be healed, right? Or it says static in the image of defeat and mourning. It says cover your nakedness, public humiliation, loss of power, prestige, and mystery. Babylon's glory is exposed and fragile. This is the de-godding of an empire. And we're watching it happen even to this day, right? All right, now it skips over to Jeremiah 50, which I had all these scriptures pulled up, but we can just kind of roll. It says Babylon is a destroyer of nations, proud, intoxicated with power, yet spoken of as a woman who will become barren and desolate, right? Jeremiah 51 and 33 says the daughter of Babylon is like a threshing floor at the time when it is trampled. Image crushed, finality, no recovery cycle implied, right? Why Babylon gets daughter language at all? It says this is important. Babylon is not in a covenant with Yahweh like Zion is. So why personify her? Because the Most High is shown as sovereign over all nations, not just Israel. Empires are judged as moral agents, not neutral powers, because they all are supposed to function underneath the nation of Israel. And the nation of Israel was meant to be the standard as the sons of God to set the earth right, and everything is supposed to fall underneath it. And once it falls outside of the way of righteousness, there is always a judgment there. All right, everything within it will, if wickedness is being produced, everything around it will die. Plants, animals, people. So it has to be corrected. Okay. It says Babylon's sins are framed as arrogance, cruelty, and self deification, right? Making itself an idol. Isaiah 47:8. I am, and there is no one besides me. Yeah, you see, this is blasphemous echoing of the Most High's own self declaration, right? It says so. The daughter language here is ironic parody. You thought you were eternal. You thought you were untouchable. You were just a girl playing queen, harsh and intentional, right? As you read through that in Isaiah 47 chapter. Now it's giving comparisons of the daughter of Babylon versus the daughter of Zion. It says Zion is chosen, disciplined, restored, humbled, later exalted. It says broke the covenant but receives mercy. But Babylon is usurping authority. It's not chosen, right? Judged and then taken out. Exalted but then humiliated at the end. Arrogant and then, that pride leads to what? Destruction. And that's what we're going to see. That's what we're going to see with America. Okay? All these things, man. It says Second Temple and later uses Baruch and First Ezra's continue treating Babylon as a archetype of oppressive empire. Babylon becomes symbolic, not just geographic. See? So now we see this imagery even in the New Testament of this mystery Babylon. So what is it talking about? It has to be spiritually discerned. What nation is actually talking about? Right? It says Revelation deliberately resurrects its imagery. Babylon the Great, mother of prostitutes and of the abominations of the earth. Notice the shift from daughter to mother, meaning Babylon has reproduced her corruption across nations. This shows the daughter of Babylon concept evolves into a trans-historical symbol of empire, decadence, and spiritual rebellion. Right? Theological punch, an empire that believes itself eternal, personified to show moral guilt, stripped of mystique, publicly judged by the Most High, mocked, reduced from queen to dust. It's a warning that power without humility will always feminizes itself in scripture, not to degrade women, but to expose vulnerability where strength was claimed. Okay? So yeah, when we see this daughter of Babylon talk, and I went to the dictionary and it is giving you all the classic, obviously a daughter. But when you go down here in the encyclopedia, it says, it says, all the population of a place taken collectively, especially in the prophets and prophetic books. H says the personification of towns or cities as a female sex. It mentions Isaiah 47 here, especially of dependent towns and villages. In Hebrew, Edom for person or thing belonging to or having the characteristics of that which it is joined. All right? How Esau was joined with Babylon. It said, race it, race it. Salakia. All right, Salakia. Let's see. But that was it on that, man. Put up these other ones, man. But we read through these scriptures, so. Let's see if there's any more here. No. Zechariah 2 and 7. Deliver thyself, O Zion, that dwellest with the daughter of Babylon. No, yeah. That broke it down well enough, man. I just wanted to kind of read through that, man, and get some to see what the chat had to say about the daughter of Babylon and those characteristics of being a daughter. And basically, it just rounded it out, talking about how, it's a personification of that city and everything about it, and the judgment that's going to come, which is ultimately for America going to be fire and brimstone. So we know that didn't happen to ancient Babylon, so that symbolized, so we understand it's symbolic for somewhere else, and we continue to say that and talk about that. All right. But with that, man, Lord willing, that was edifying. I just want to read through that and touch on that. With that being said, I want to say, call hello, Yahweh, Bashim, Yahweh Shah, Bashim, Rakah, Kodash. Double honors once again to the apostles, elders, and bishop. Great millstone. Much peace, love, salutations to Yaki. I'm out there pushing the word of Yahweh, Bashim, Yahweh Shah, sincere and true. Shalom.